Here's the problem with searching for homes near Sacramento. Most people start by typing Sacramento, and then suddenly they're seeing homes in Sacramento, Elk Grove, Roseville, Folsom, Rocklin, El Dorado Hills, Lincoln, or any of the other many cities within the Greater Sacramento area. And from the outside, it can look like one giant market, but it really is not. Living near downtown Sacramento is a completely different experience than living near Folsom, or Elk Grove, where it feels different from Roseville. Rocklin feels different from Rancho Cordova. And a home that looks perfect online can be the wrong fit if the commute, the monthly payment, lifestyle, or the location doesn't match your lifestyle. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the best areas to consider near Sacramento, California. Not because one area is perfect for everyone, but because each area fits a different type of buyer. By the end, you should have a much clearer idea of which areas may belong on your list before you start touring homes. Hey everyone, I'm Selena Garner, a real estate professional here in the Greater Sacramento area, and I help buyers compare communities so that they make a smart move when they're relocating here. So let's start with Sacramento itself. Sacramento is the area to consider if you want to be closer to the core of the region. Depending on where you live, you may have access to downtown, midtown, restaurants, local events, government offices, hospitals, established neighborhoods, and a more central location. The biggest advantage of Sacramento is convenience. You'll be closer to a lot of the activity that an urban city can bring. And for some buyers, that matters more than having a newer home or a larger lot. But the trade-off is that housing can vary quite a bit. You can find older homes, condos, townhomes, updated properties, and streets that feel very different from one another. So buyers really need to pay attention to condition, parking, lot size, street layout, and overall monthly cost. Sacramento can be a strong fit if you want central access, but if you want newer construction, more space, or more of a suburban layout, then you might want to compare some of the other nearby cities too, like Elk Grove. You'll find Elk Grove sitting just south of Sacramento, and many buyers look here when they want more of a suburban layout while still staying connected to Sacramento. Elk Grove has a wide range of housing from established areas to newer sections, but for buyers who want more space than they might find in some central Sacramento neighborhoods, Elk Grove can be worth researching. But one of the biggest things to understand here is the commute. If you're driving into downtown Sacramento, Roseville, Folsom, or another part of the region, test the drive at the time you would actually be commuting, because just checking the distance on a map simply is not enough. Next is Roseville. Roseville sits in Placer County, northeast of Sacramento, and it happens to be one of the most well-known suburbs in the region. Buyers often look at Roseville when they want suburban convenience with great schools, shopping, restaurants, medical access, parks, and easy access to Interstate 80 and Highway 65. Roseville also tends to come up a lot for buyers who want a more polished suburban feel with many daily life amenities nearby. Here, you'll find more established areas, old historic areas, lots of newer developments, shopping centers, business areas, and different home styles depending on which part of Roseville you're looking at. The trade-off is that Roseville may not be the lowest priced option, and depending on where you work, the commute may or may not make sense to you. And because it is in Placer County versus Sacramento County, make sure to compare taxes, assessments, utilities, insurance costs against similar homes in Sacramento County. Next is Rocklin. Rocklin is close to Roseville. It often appeals to buyers looking in the Placer County side of the Sacramento region. In comparison, Rocklin generally feels more suburban and spread out with residential neighborhoods, again, great schools, parks, shopping access, and sits basically between Roseville and Lincoln and just at the base of the foothills. Buyers often compare Rocklin and Roseville because they're so close to each other, but the experience can feel a little different depending on the neighborhood, the home age, the commute route, and price point. Rocklin may be worth considering if you like the idea of being northeast of Sacramento and want to compare homes in the Roseville, Rocklin, and Lincoln corridor. Just make sure you compare the full monthly payment, not just the list price, because each area has its own utility services and other costs. Next, let's talk about Folsom and El Dorado Hills. Both of these areas are among the communities people ask about the most because they both have a very distinct feel. Here you'll have access to the beautiful Folsom Lake, endless trails for walking and biking, shopping, restaurants, historic areas, and newer developments in different parts of the city. Folsom often makes sense for buyers who want outdoor access and a suburban lifestyle, but still want to feel connected to the Sacramento region, as it is in Sacramento County. However, it does feel very different from central Sacramento because the setting is closer to the foothills, and it is thought of as a lake town. The city was literally built around the outdoor and recreational living concept. El Dorado Hills, on the other hand, sits just east of Folsom in El Dorado County and is considered to be a somewhat affluent, very family-friendly, and tight-knit community, also with easy access to Folsom Lake, great schools, and restaurants. It offers a blend of suburban comfort, outdoor recreation, and high quality of life, making it one of the region's most desirable places to live and a bit pricier than some of the others. So the trade-off here would be price and commute. Both Folsom and El Dorado Hills can be more expensive than some of the other Sacramento area options. And if you need to commute outside of Folsom, you need to understand Highway 50 traffic and your actual route. Also, both of these beautiful cities offer older established areas and newer communities. So again, buyers should compare taxes, HOA fees, Melrose where applicable, lot sizes, and long-term plans for the area they're considering. Next up is Lincoln. Lincoln is north of Roseville and Rocklin, and it too can be a good area to research if you're looking for newer homes, more space, or a location that feels farther from the central Sacramento area. Some buyers really like Lincoln because it can offer a different price to space conversation than areas closer to Sacramento or Folsom. But the further out you go, the more important commute becomes, so you want to make sure to consider that. Lincoln can make a lot of sense for some buyers, especially if they don't need to be in downtown Sacramento every day. But if you have a daily commute, be honest about the drive time, traffic, and how often you want to be on the road. With newer communities, look closely at HOA fees, taxes, Melrose again, and special assessments, landscaping costs, and whether nearby services match your daily routine. And next, let's talk about Rancho Cordova. Rancho Cordova is east of Sacramento along the Highway 50 corridor. It can be a good option for buyers who want a bit easier access to Sacramento, Folsom, or the eastern side of the region. Because depending on where you live within Rancho Cordova, you may have relatively direct access to Highway 50, business areas, shopping, and routes toward Folsom and downtown Sacramento. The housing here can vary quite a bit, which is why buyers should compare specific neighborhoods carefully. You may find different home ages, price points, layouts, and property conditions, but this area may be worth considering if you're looking to stay on the east side of Sacramento region, but don't necessarily want Folsom pricing. And so next on my list is Natomas. Natomas is located in the northern part of Sacramento, and one of the biggest advantage, its location. It can be convenient for people who want access to downtown Sacramento, the Sacramento International Airport, Interstate 5, and Interstate 80 for commuters. Here you'll find a mix of housing types like many of the others. Some parts may feel newer than older central Sacramento neighborhoods, but again, buyers still need to compare city services, taxes, insurance, HOA fees if applicable, and special assessments. Airport access here can be a major plus, but exact location still matters. And so finally, let's talk about West Sacramento. West Sacramento is across the river from Sacramento in Yolo County, and it can be a smart area to compare if you want a short proximity to downtown Sacramento, but are open to being outside of Sacramento County. For some buyers, West Sacramento is appealing because of its quick and easy access to downtown, riverfront areas, and routes toward Davis or the Bay Area. But sections of the area, property types, and commute patterns do vary here pretty significantly. And because it's in Yolo County, make sure to compare taxes, services, commute, and long-term plans separately from Sacramento County areas. Now, there are several other cities and areas of the Greater Sacramento area in between the ones that I've spoken about, as the Greater Sacramento area does encompass a pretty vast geographic area here in Northern California. But I just want you to understand that each area brings its own character, amenities, and lifestyle. So this begs the question, what is the best area to live in near Sacramento? The honest answer, it depends. If you want central access, look closely at Sacramento itself. If you want South area suburban option, compare Elk Grove. If you want Placer County suburbs with lots of amenities, look at Roseville or Rocklin. If you want outdoor access and a foothills feel, Folsom and El Dorado Hills may belong on your list. If you want newer options further north, Lincoln may be worth researching. Or if you want a Highway 50 corridor, compare Rancho Cordova. If airport downtown access matters, take a look at Natomas. And if you want to compare something close to downtown but outside of Sacramento, Sacramento County, look at West Sacramento. The biggest mistake, however, would be choosing based only on the house that you might find online. You need to choose based on the house, the monthly payment, the commute, the lifestyle, the property taxes, the insurance, the neighborhood layout, and how that area fits your actual daily life. And one note, if schools, safety, flood zones, commute times, taxes, or insurance are part of your decision, make sure to verify those details directly through the proper public sources and professionals. Those details can change by property, boundary, district, and timing, and can make a big difference. So if you're thinking about moving to the Greater Sacramento area and trying to figure out which area makes the most sense, I would be happy to help you compare your options. My contact information is in the description below, and you can reach out anytime. I'm Selena Garner, and I'll see you in the next video.